In this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to make this sort of colour pop card where it looks like we've paper pieced each of these dots with a different colour, which we haven't. We've used a little trick, which I'll show you, of how we get that beautiful pop. And then we've got some of the lovely Belinda flowers on there. This is made just using 2 of the dies from the JND513 Daisy FrameMaker set. We've just used 2 of the inserts there. But I think this could be made in so many different colours and would look absolutely stunning, made in different shades for different occasions. So let's see how this card's made. So to make this sort of simple but effective, sort of very modern card, we're going to use just 2 of the inserts from the JND513 Daisy FrameMaker. So we're only going to actually need to use these 2 longer pieces. And that's what I love about these die sets, is you don't have to use everything. Every single bit of metal has a use. So I've taken those 2 pieces out, and I've got a piece here of our coconut white card that's simply been cut to 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And I'm placing it on my mat, and I'm going to place it evenly within a square so that I can use the lines to get this nice and even. So I'm placing it basically between, I'm going an inch in and taping that die down. I'm then going to take the other one, and I'm effectively going to the next sort of inch line. So I'm putting it within that line there. So I'll just tape this down and I can show you what I mean. So effectively we've got a line going there and a line going there. And that's what I've used to guide it into the right place. So all we need to do now is to run this through our machine and cut it. So this is now being cut. I'm just going to take those dies off. And what we want to do is, let's get the little bits out. We want to have, as we saw in the original card, a faux paper piece. So we want to have a different colour in each one of these little dots. But what I don't want to be doing is cutting strips or cutting circles out in all of these different sizes. So this is where we almost cheat. So what I've got here is, I've got some of our marine blue and our deep red from our canvas card collection, and I've just cut these strips. These are using scrap to a 1/2 inch. So that's all. But obviously that's a lot wider than some of these. But we use an overlapping technique. It's really simple. So I'm just going to turn this over, and one of the easiest ways to do this without having to use any sort of posh glue or spray glue or anything is just use some power tape. And I'm just going to run a line of power tape. And I'm using power tape because it's a lot stronger than any other double-sided adhesive. And I'm running it either side of the lines of dots. So remember, this is on the reverse and in the centre as well. So I've gone in the centre either side, just like that. And then all I want to do is to reveal all of the tape at the same time. This is what I love about power tape, just dig in. It's not like your normal red line where you're sort of having to slide under carefully. So I'm going to take and start with one colour. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to place this the opposite way round. And I'm going to take my colour and I'm going to cover completely that first line. I'm then going to take the red and I'm going to cover completely the second. And then switching back into the blue, and I'm going to cover that third. But you'll notice it overlaps the red slightly. And that's what we're doing. So I put this against that edge, cover that, and you can see these stripes getting thinner as we go down because we're overlapping. So it's far easier than trying to work out a strip of the right size. So again, I only want to cover that circle. So go to there, cover there. Here, again, I only want to cover one of those. So can you see there's a little bit of distance there? So I'm going to put that onto there and chop that off, and then put that to cover that little red circle there. I'll turn this one over so you can see red and red, but if the red continued on, it would cover that circle. This is the easiest way to do it. So again, I want to cover that one there. Just going to trim that off, and I want to cover that little one there. so you don't have to get them all in the right place at all or in a strip. We're just covering it, but it's so much easier than using little strips. So that little red one there, and no, nearly. So that little red one there, we're nearly back on line. I'm going to trim that off, tuck that in and cover that. Remember, all of the back is going to be coated, so it doesn't matter. Then I'm going to the blue, and this time it covers all the way across both of them. The red, the same. Back to a blue, and again covers both of them. Into a red, final blue, and then our final red. And you could do this with 4 colours, 6, as many colours as you want, but that's far easier than trying to paper piece each of those individual elements. As you can imagine, trying to get each bit out of the die and put it in the right place. So all I do then is take my scissors and trim off one edge. Nice and simple. And keep these, because these will be wide enough. From a strip of the width of card, you'll actually get 3 pieces. You'll actually be able to make 3 of these. So just, there we go. Nice and simple, but as you can see, you know, blue, red, blue, red. You could alternate them. So you go blue, red, and mix. There's so many different things you can do with this technique that makes it look as if we've been really complicated. And of course, we haven't. So all I would do is pop some foam tape on the back of there just to secure it. So I run it down right by the edge, and that helps to secure that little bit. I put another strip there into the centre just to secure those pieces, and then we go around all of the outside, just so that everything is at the same level and everything is secured and supported within there. So it doesn't actually matter if you're really worried about any piece. You can put a little extra support into it. And then I've got a card blank here that's cut to 7 by 7, and I've matted and layered on a piece of white and blue at 6.5. I'm just going to remove my pieces of foam tape and then put that into position. There we go. So you see, really beautiful and simple. And I've made up, using the Belinda flower and the leaves, some flowers in the red and blue, because they just really pop. So you could run a sentiment along there, but I think it just works so well. So I've got here the flowers, I've got the leaves, and I've got, so one set of each. I'm going to use a little bit of glue glaze, and I'm just going to use for this one of the large sets of leaves, which gives us the perfect sort of setting against there. In fact, actually, no, I'm going to use the other set as well. I was wondering about putting one flower on, but since the original card has 3, we want it to be the same. So there we go. So just there. And then to put my flowers on, 3D glue gel by Craft Artist it's a non-smell silicone type glue that just puts flowers on perfectly. So I'm just spotting the 3 colours on towards the bottom. There we go. Let's just have that blue one. This is why I like silicone, because I can play around with the flowers for a good 10 minutes afterwards until I'm happy. But there we have that beautiful sort of colour pop card. Again, great. So you just put Dad, and it's a great Father's Day card, but change the colours and you can really do something amazingly different with this. For more ideas, hints, tips, inspiration, and a gallery of samples made with these dies, why not join yourself to our John Next Door official Facebook page?